Shalom and welcome back here. We're calling on Hollywood right now. But we're going to talk about Judaism, religion, the kotel on the wall. Ravit Markus is with us to talk about her film that she is the executive producer along with Dan Katzir, who's been here before. And I want to thank Dan because he's wearing a t-shirt, which meant that I don't have to wear a tie. So first of all, on the issue of wardrobe, this is really wonderful. I want to thank you, Dan. Ravit, how did you meet this guy?
Oh, Dan is just the most famous grad, or one of the most famous grads of our film school, the film and TV department at Tel Aviv University. So when I moved to LA a few years ago, he was the first person I called. I was very nervous. It was like calling a celebrity, but he was very nice, said, let's meet, and the collaboration started.
And Dan, I mean, I can't even remember. You've done so many documentaries, and very unusual. What was the first one that we met and discussed?
I think Out for Love Be Back Shortly.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, you've had some great opportunities to do documentaries that actually don't run for 2 days or in a film festival with 50 people sitting there. That actually commercially are viable. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
We were blessed with, we were given an amazing opportunity by Greg Lemley, who said, let's show this film at the Lemley theaters and just see how it goes. And he started us off in a theater in the Valley and a theater in downtown, and the turnout was unbelievable in those remote locations. And then he said, let's go with it, and he started showing us for months and months in all the Lemley theaters around town. So we were blessed with giving the opportunity, and then the film really showed that there is an audience.
So there's an audience in Hollywood now.
Yes.
For our viewers in New York and New Jersey, San Antonio, Vermont, Georgia, and across the country, is there an audience in Georgia and also in New York?
First of all, I think one of our first festivals to show the film that was recently in theater, Yiddish Theater, A Love Story, it definitely played all around, and it's now starting to play in other theaters around the country.
I think we should look at a clip of this.
Oh, that would be great. So
we can show, before we get to the issue of women, which I noticed, I've always interviewed Dan by himself, and now I see he gives you the entree already to speak first. He looks over to you to see if it's okay. He gets the hecture from Ravit.
That's a smart director. That's how you keep the producer.
But before we get to women and the power of women and the problems that they're facing, let's look at this your involvement with the Yiddish theater, this joy.
Shifra is unbelievable on stage. Her instincts are really good, and she's unbelievably professional. She's one of the first people to know her parts, her lines. She's 80-something, but she stays in her way. She doesn't change her acting.
I don't like to improvise because sometimes you're in a good mood to improvise, and sometimes you're not in a good mood to improvise, and it doesn't come out good. And this I am, a perfectionist I am. And I hate an actor or an actress who is not a professional, who is not a perfectionist.
I'm not so stick to lines, you know. I have something to put in the lines. Don't stick like Shifra. Shifra stick to her line.
Tzipora plays around. Tzipora changes her acting every time. Never on stage it's the same as it was. With Shifra it's all the time the same. And they're both fantastic.
I'm not a slave to acting. I love acting. I give it to acting. I will give it to you. Get it. Chappes, hobbes.
That night, once again the ticket sales were low. The investors who promised to come didn't show up. Without financing, Tzipora's move to Broadway would remain a dream, and the show would close in 4 days.
All right, so that's not what we're here to talk about, but it is an example of success as a documentary, a Jewish-themed documentary.
Right. A lot of people told us that nobody will care about a movie about Yiddish theater. Who will come to see a movie about Yiddish and theater? But we were very fortunate, as Ravit mentioned, And half of our audience was not Jewish. It's people
I'm ethnocentric. I would say who would go to see something on the theater, but
right.
Jewish theater they would come to see.
Most people said it's a dead horse.
We got more press than I think most documentaries in 2007. About.com, a website that belongs to the New York Times that has I think 10 million viewers every month, voted us as one of the top 10 documentaries for 2007, and we played also a month in New York, and we're still playing. We just finished Queens, and we're going to do the other boroughs in New York. So I think if you find a movie that touches audience, then it will resonate, and word of mouth will make it happen. And I think what's beautiful about Jewish documentaries or Jewish films in general, which I like, and I see a lot of people like, is that it has a sensibility that is much warmer. I think we live in a society that is much colder. Everything is cut faster, more dynamic, more colorful, but it lacks that emotional depth. And I think traditionally Jewish sensibility, Jewish art was very, very emotional. And I think that's why it's caught on, both stories and theater and movies and literature and throughout the ages.
We'll be back with more Dan Katzir, Ravit Markus. The topic, women at the Kotel in their own voices.
It's more than just an album. It's a mitzvah, the Jewish songbook, the heart and humor of a people. With selections from some of today's top entertainers, from Adam Sandler to Barbara Streisand. Featuring 11 brand new recordings of classic Jewish songs. The Jewish Songbook is an extraordinary expression of the experience created by artists embracing their own heritage. The Jewish Songbook, the heart and humor of a people, in stores now.
In Jerusalem, like all the places that we travel to, the program takes us on a journey through past, present, and future.
Jerusalem!
And we return now. Dan Katzir and Ravit Markus, our guests. Now let's talk about religion. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Religion.
Yeah.
Let's talk about women. Okay. So about women in religion. Let's talk about orthodoxy or the issues that actually are paramount in Israel and focus at the wall, at the Kotel. The centerpiece of, the center of the Jewish religion, of Judaism, is the wall, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Why
it's
is
a
that?
symbol.
Why? I mean, tell us why the wall is a symbol.
First of all, that's a reason to see our new film, Praying in Our Own Voice, which is about women and their issues in trying to pray like men do by the Western Wall. And part what we put in the movie is definitely some of the top women rabbis in LA explaining why is this such a powerful symbol. And really just quoting these amazing women, it's just a symbol of the Jewish hope and the Jewish resilience over the last, 2,000 years of exile from Israel.
מי שעושה דברים נגד התורה מקבל גיהנום. גיהנום תקבלו על זה.
I've traveled around the world and I've prayed with talit and tefillin on trains in Japan, on airplanes going to Prague and to France, and the only place where I'm actually scared to put a talit over my head and pray lest I get hit over the head with a chair or have feces thrown at me is at the Kotel, at the Western Wall in Jerusalem.
The women at the wall are the prophetesses of our time, because they are challenging and have been challenging the injustice in sacred space. There isn't anything more prophetic than that.
The important thing for people to understand is that this movement did not begin as a statement. This movement did not begin because anyone was trying to prove something to anyone else. This movement began because women want a relationship to God and a relationship to Jewish tradition.
It's a symbol of Jewish survival.
For me, it's a very emotional experience. I feel connected to my past, to my people's past.
What is the future and what is going on in Israel today with this issue at the wall?
First of all, I want to admit that I was one of these people who just didn't care, because I am a secular Jew. So I was like, who cares if people can pray there or not, or how they can pray? It's not my issue. I don't pray. I don't go to pray there. It's a very important historical and cultural monument to me, but that's all. But then when Yael Katzir, the director of the film, started bringing in the footage, I realized what an important issue this is, because it's a feminist issue, and I want women to be able to do whatever they want, and if they're religious and they want to pray and read from the Torah, it's their right. And what's happening right now, it's pretty complex, because our film ends, we followed years of a legal battle that came all the way to the Superior Court in Israel, and eventually they were still not allowed to pray like men do by the Western Wall. Right now they are praying in this other part. They felt it was like a second-rated wall, like on the side, in the corner, you go down, and that's where they are praying right now. So it hasn't been totally resolved yet.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what happens now, the law that you're talking about, and the type of criminal punishment you can get for ceremonial praying women at the Kotel.
חל עלינו איום שבהצעת חוק שעברה קריאה טרומית בכנסת ישראל, שכתוב שם ככה: לא יקוים טקס דתי בעזרת אנשים שליד הכותל המערבי, הכולל הוצאת ספר תורה וקריאה בו, תקיעת שופרות, לבישת טליתות ותפילין. העוברת על הוראות סעיף זה דינה מאסר 7 שנים. 7 שנים מאסר לאישה שמעיזה להתעטף בטלית בכותל או לקרוא שם בספר תורה. ראש חודש, עוד מימי התלמוד, הוא חג של נשים. נשים מתכנסות ביחד, מתפללות ביחד. אנחנו מתכנסות כל ראש חודש מזה 14 שנה בכותל המערבי, להתפלל ביחד כקבוצה, לקרוא שחרית, לקרוא הלל, להתעטף בטליתות, כדי לא לפגוע ברגשות של הזולת. אנחנו עומדות במרחק מהכותל, מתוך התחשבות. מה שנשות הכותל רוצות זה להיות אזרחיות שוות זכויות גם בכותל המערבי. את החירות להשמיע את הקול שלהם. ישראל מוכרת את הכותל אתר של אחדות לאומית. איך אחדות לאומית אם משתיקים חצי מהאוכלוסייה? איך אחדות לאומית אם הבריונים שולטים בכותל? אז אנחנו בעצם רוצים שהקול שלנו יישמע יחד עם הקול של כולם.
So 7 years. You can get up to 7 years for breaking the law, a woman at the wall, which I think you mentioned is even
I think
even
the same or more than rape.
Or
yeah, to some degree. The thing is, it's passed. It has to pass in the Knesset 3 times. It passed the first time, then it stopped. There's still the religious parties are still trying to move it forward, to push it forward. And at the end of the day, it's a battle. Not of women wanting to dishonor the wall. It's women wanting to pray according to Jewish religion next to the wall. Now, I think in a way it's a metaphor for the whole battle, and the battle is, can women pray in Judaism? And for many years,
the battle is, can women pray?
It's all about
Jews
interpretation.
In the Jewish homeland. Is that correct?
No, it's in synagogues.
Also, Chabad synagogues or other Orthodox synagogues in America.
Women are not supposed to pray.
But I think the issue here too is the wall. The Kotel is a very special place on earth. Yeah. And that's really, in the end, you can change your synagogues. Right? But as a woman. But you can't change the wall. There's only one wall.
Yes. Right. And it's the holiest site for Jews. So will the holiest site for Jew be for all the Jews or for only some of the Jews?
Well, this is the dilemma. Might add that you mentioned that Dan's mother was the director. We kind of alluded to that, but I think the good news is we Jewish men do not have to worry about Jewish women wearing burqas. This is the really good news. Thank you for being with us. Keep up. Thank you. So prolific with your Jewish-themed documentaries. A great blessing, not only to our Jewish people, but to non-Jews to better understand who we are. Thank you again for being with us. We're going to be right back. Yes,
yeah, just one last thing. Thank you. I don't know if you remember, when we made that Yiddish movie before it became a huge success, we played it here in a little festival in LA, and you tapped onto it and you said, remember this movie, something's going to happen with it. So
that's the only time I've ever been right. That's why I never go to Las Vegas. Anyway, thank you for being with us. JLTV across America, around the world. We'll be right back.